They say that Haney doesn't have a chin. But when you watch Shane Mosley almost dismantle Floyd, they don't say that, right? So I look at Haney as having a pretty good chin from being able to withstand and recover from some of those shots, especially the ones when Ryan Garcia was hitting them. Those was real shots. And those are shots that Ryan Garcia has put people in the hospital with. And Haney withstood that for 12 rounds when he didn't have to. Nobody would have blamed him if he wouldn't have got up after that first one, and he fought through all of it with what looked like a broken jaw. So I never gave him the knock for not having a chin. I look at that as a chin. But moving forward to the Norman and Haney fight, man. I called it on YSM Sports, man. I said that Haney does well against guys who are flat-footed, explosive fighters that remind you of a Regis Prograde type of guy. And everybody in the comments on that channel, they jumped down my throat, pause, but they came at me crazy. You know what I mean? They said I was comparing him to Prograde. Norman is a whole different level than when I said that he's another Spence type of fighter. Everybody thought I was disrespecting Spence. And what I'm saying when I say that these guys are similar, I mean flat-footed, explosive fighters, not their accolades, not how well they fight flat-footed. Some of them are better than others flat-footed and being explosive, but their style is still a flat-footed, explosive, straightforward pressure fighter. That's how all those guys fight, right? Just some are better than others at it, but that's what they do. So it wasn't any disrespect towards Spence, Norman, nor Prograde by making those comparisons between the three. It's just that they have that style, and that style for a pure boxer like Haney, who stays behind his jab, it's not really difficult for him, right? He can. I've seen that with the Prograde fight. Like I said, he can definitely move all night. He can stay behind that jab all night, right? And his team did a great job of reverse engineering what they thought Norman would try to do, because I think that Norman's team, they worked against him because in the build up for the fight, you have his dad and those guys talking about, hey, you don't want to exchange with my son. They kept saying it. So when you say, hey, don't exchange, right, it's letting me know that's what you want me to do. You want to challenge me to exchange with you. So that means that's where you plan, or that's where you think you're strong, and that's where you think your strategy will prevail, right? So that means we need to have a game plan for that, because I know that's how you're coming into the fight, because you keep stressing that I shouldn't exchange with you, right? So I think that tilted Haney's team to understand, hey, this is what they're looking for, And then also they kept talking about his jab. Well, you saw in the first round, Haney didn't throw anything at all, no jab, no nothing. He didn't want to give him anything to counter because he knew, based off reverse engineering and scouting himself, that anybody who watches Haney knows that if you can counter the jab effectively, you can catch the jab effectively, and you got to answer for the jab, you can work off of his jab and hurt him, just like Ryan Garcia did, right? So you notice he didn't even try the jab in the first round. He made Norman kind of docile, because you can tell Norman was waiting for those looks that his dad told him he would get, the exchanges that he didn't get, and the jabs that he didn't get initially. That threw his entire game plan off. And then in the exchange, he got caught. Now, you want to take somebody's steam out of their game plan and faith out of their trainer, catch them doing something that they were told would be their bread and butter, meaning it's been drilled into him by his dad all training camp. As soon as we exchanged with the guy, he was even saying it in the corner, still the rest of the fight, because you could tell that's what they thought would happen. He said, they don't want to exchange with you. He's scared, son. He can't exchange with you. Right. But his son looking at him crazy, because in the second round, Dad, hey, I exchanged with him and he dropped me. I almost lost the fight exchanging with this guy. And you told me that he can exchange with me, but he's winning the exchanges. So that the confidence in what you're saying and the confidence in what his father was saying, you could tell he lost that right after the second round. It's I know I'm alone. That's how Norman felt. I know I'm alone. I know that my corner doesn't have anything for me, because everything that they did tell me I would be great at, I'm losing at in this fight. From the infighting to the jab to the exchanges, he lost everything that he thought he would benefit or dominate at. And so he was not only dejected physically, but mentally, Haney beat him too. So hats go off to Haney for that fight. But I feel like he took his foot foot off the gas, and he could have knocked and should have knocked Norman out. But him coasting to the victory, I can't hate on. I just wanted to see him turn it up just for a round. He didn't have to do it for the entirety of the second half of the fight, but just try to get him out of here one of those rounds. You know what I mean? And Norman's adjustment by throwing two ones. He kept on throwing 2 1s, which is a straight right hand and a like a shovel jab rather than a hook off of that, and that started catching Haney coming in. So maybe he stung Haney. I think he did in the 7th round. But maybe he stung him in a way where, I'm not taking the punches. So maybe he hit him in a way where Haney just said, look, man, I'm just going to go ahead and take the win and not risk nothing, man. And I respect that, because those are the things I say Abdullah Mason currently is not doing. Keyshawn Davis currently is not doing. And, they're not taking those opportunities to just dominate and get out there with the win without taking damage. But Haney did that. So hats go off to him. Great performance. You got a lot of opportunities next at the 147 division. I think, except for Conor Benn, because Conor Benn and Hearns, I think they want to ride that nostalgic feeling of beating Eubanks a little bit longer. They don't want to give up an L right now, because they said they started talking like they were trying to get away from that fight, like they don't want to fight Haney because they keep saying Haney's going to run. It's not the running that's the problem. It's the fact that they know there's not going to be much there to hit, and he's going to hit you. So nobody wants to fight that, right? Not right now. And I respect that. Get your money, do what you got to do, build up a bigger fight where y'all have no choice but to fight later on and make more money. So do your thing. But hats go off to all those guys, man. All those guys. Outside of that, Steph, anything that you observed in that Haney fight that you want to add to the equation or no?
Yeah, one thing I want to add, man, he landed at 182 jabs. Damn. 182 jabs in a 12-round fight. I mean, that's a killer. Boxers say it best. A left hook can take you around the block, but a jab can take you around the world. And Devin Haney, he just turned Norman into a clincher. I mean, that's really what he did. He broke him down, and he broke his spirit by round 8. He set the tone at round 2 when he knocked him down, and then by round 8, he took his spirit. And Norman had no answers for the movement and for the ring IQ. And shout out to Haney. I've been kind of a hater of Haney in the past, but man, is he a problem. I mean, he is really a problem. It's always the chin that I've always been suspect of, but the IQ, the pedigree, it's there. The guy is a problem.
What's funny to me, man, and I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people talk about chins, right? And I think that the misnomer is that a person with a chin doesn't get hurt. It's not the fact that you don't get hurt. That's not what makes you have a chin, in my opinion. It's the fact that you can withstand what was given and you can keep coming, right? And for me, watching, like, nobody would say Floyd Mayweather doesn't have a chin, but they'll say Haney doesn't have a chin, right? Right? They'll say Floyd Mayweather has a chin, but they'll say Haney doesn't. But we've watched Floyd almost drop versus Shane Mosley, right?
Right.
He was getting fucked up. And we've seen Maidana catch Floyd with some shots like Linares caught Haney with.
Right.
Maidana caught Floyd with a very similar shot, a right-hand counter at the end of a round that looked like it knocked Floyd's teeth right out, right? And Floyd went back to the ring a little dizzy, just like Haney did. But they say Haney doesn't have a chin, and Floyd does. When you saw Ryan Garcia rock Haney, drop him, just get him, you know what I'm saying? They say that Haney doesn't have a chin. But when you watch Shane Mosley almost dismantle Floyd, they don't say that, right? So I look at Haney as having a pretty good chin from being able to withstand and recover from some of those shots, especially the ones when Ryan Garcia was hitting them. Those were real shots. And those are shots that Ryan Garcia has put people in the hospital with. And Haney withstood that for 12 rounds when he didn't have to. Nobody would have blamed him if he wouldn't have got up after that first one, and he fought through all of it with what looked like a broken jaw. So I never gave him the knock for not having a chin. I look at that as a chin. The lack of a chin comes when you just can't, anything knocks you out or knocks you down or knocks you out. Haney hasn't been in that situation where I can see, and then Ryan Garcia was much bigger too, but Haney hasn't been in a situation where I could say, his chin was in question, in my opinion. Not for me.
And for the audience, I think that in all my experience in boxing, there is no such thing as an iron chin. In my personal experience, in my personal opinion, there is no such thing as an iron chin.
Right.
To me, it's more about, do you see the punch coming? If you can see the punch coming with your eyes, if you can catch the punch coming, you can take it because you can prepare yourself. But it's the punch you don't see that knocks you out, and that's the thing that people don't understand. Haney couldn't see Ryan's left hooks; he just couldn't catch them.
Right.
And you know, Amir Khan, I see a KOG Duval is Amir Khan's example of fighter with no chin. No, Amir Khan personally just didn't see the punches coming. When Danny Garcia hit Amir Khan, he didn't see that punch coming.
But Amir Khan, I give him that example because it's like a guy. That's I'll give him that example because I'll say this: Amir Khan is one of those guys where even if he doesn't see the punch coming, he is better than a lot of fighters in many ways. He's faster, he's quicker, good jab. He's going to run up points on you, all that. But you know when you fight Amir Khan that if you just, if you can just keep throwing the right types of shots and you can land the right shots on him throughout the fight, you can get him out of here even though you might lose every round on points. You can knock him out. You know what I'm saying? You know that.
But Amir Khan's also reckless when he fights. He gets a little reckless. He gets excited, and that's where the punch does it. As the punch comes, because he's fast. That's it. He punches in bunches, right? And I feel like that's when he gets a little reckless. Like the Canelo fight, he was controlling the fight pretty early, and he saw the punch. He didn't see the punch coming.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but it's just like you can get it. It's like that.
Oh yeah, Amir Khan coming with it. Yeah,
it's like a Roy Jones after he came down from heavyweight. It's like his punch resistance wasn't there. That's what I consider no chin. Whereas like like Lubin right now, Lubin the way he lost to Ortiz, he doesn't have punch resistance anymore. It's like you can hit him. Whether he's blocking or not, he can see the shots coming. It doesn't matter. His punch resistance just isn't there. You can get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I look at as having no chin. Having a questionable chin, you can say, now if you said Devin Haney's chin is questionable, it is questionable because we got to see him take punches from other guys. But I don't look at the Ryan Garcia fight solely as a fight that would tell me he doesn't have one. So I think that's the mistake that people making though. Because we repackage things the way we want to right now based off of who we like or who has the best fanfare. So we'll say this guy is better than this guy because he's more popular. Right. So we look at Haney now as like he's a guy that's not having a chin. And we got a guy like Norman and these other guys that we think are better because we like their charisma or we think they hit hard or we watch them against a stationary fighter and don't understand what we're looking at. But those types of things set guys like Norman up for ass whooping because you think that you're looking at a lame duck and he fresh, he ready. You know what I mean? So shout out to Haney and his team for the way they put that game plan together. Mickey Bay was one of the trainers in the corner. And, his dad, of course, was, giving him strategy. So their whole team, top down, did an excellent job preparing him for this fight. And it looked like they had they had his number the entire night. So hats go off to Norman, too. But a lot of people saying he's coming back or he'll have a better career. And I beg to differ because when I watched him against Santiel, the reason I thought that Haney could knock him out, because I knew that Haney was a sharper, crisper puncher than Santiel, and Santiel was hitting Norman whenever he wanted to. He hit him with 5-6 punch combinations. It was a great fight, but it reminded me of what we just saw with Abdullah Mason. When you have a guy that's lesser, that I think is a lesser athlete like Santiel or like a Sam Noakes, and those guys can hit you at will. When you're fighting a quick twitch athlete that hits better or that's a sharper puncher, or a bigger puncher, you're not going to take those shots at the top level. And I look at Haney the same way. I looked at Norman the same way. When Norman was taking those shots against Santiel, I said, if he does these same things against Haney, it's over. And the fights after that, he was knocking guys out so quick you didn't see if he corrected the problem. So I said, if he still comes into this Haney fight not moving his head, he's going to be in trouble. And then Haney, in that fight, he didn't move his head. And if he still fights this way throughout the rest of his career, like fighting on a straight line, pulling straight out after combinations, committing to too many punches prior to landing the first, that's a big problem boxers have too. But he commits to too many shots, and he's still right there in front of you when he's doing it. And what I mean by that is some guys will punch, they'll touch you, right? Like Floyd will touch you. If you watch Floyd might hit you with a 3-punch combination, but it's never like, boom. It's like pop, touch you, pop, touch you, pop. You know what I'm saying? He's taking a picture in between shots to see what's coming back and to stay defensively sound. Abdullah Mason, what he had a problem with, and what Norman has a problem with is some fighters, because of the way they drill, they automatically go into their second or third shot. They've committed to 3 or 4 punches before they threw the first one. So if you already have a pattern ready for that, and you're countering in between those punches, or you're intercepting those shots, you have a better chance because they've already fully committed to the combination. Meaning when they go through a 1-2, by the time they throw the 1, the 2 is already coming. So if you counter it, they're getting caught in between that shot automatically because they're not taking the time to take a picture in between the shots. So it's not a pop and then see what's coming, then counter your counter. Is I'm just going right at you. If I'm throwing a 1, 2, 3, is I already threw all 3. You know what I'm saying? If you pay attention to what I'm saying and you watch Abdullah Mason's fight, that's what he was doing against Noakes. That's what Norman does regularly. So they can get caught clean in between shots. And they're making your counter even more powerful because they're coming forward full-fledged with their offense. It's the same reason I think Ortiz will have trouble against Boots, because he does this. But when you see guys that throw Gatling gun combinations, minus one guy, it's only one guy that does it in a way where it's like, I don't know how he doesn't get in trouble for it ever, but he does. And it's like, it behooves you to not try to exchange with him. And that's Benavidez. And we'll get to that fight in a second. But Benavidez throws these Gatling gun combinations where it's like, don't try to punch in between his shots. Don't exchange with him, right? You just gotta keep him from cornering you, so he will only unleash those when he corners you. So you don't exchange with him. But everyone else, it's like you got an opportunity in between their shots to land shots because they've already chain linked their combination. They know what's coming. They're throwing, they're thinking up a 5-punch combination on you, or their instincts are calling for one. And you can intercept that and exchange with them in between those shots. And that's where you have success against both those types of guys. Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn Davis, Norman, they all have this issue, and they need to rectify that. You know what I mean? Be a lot more judicious with their punches. He said, do you believe that B&J need another eye in his camp? I believe that could help. No, I think he needs another eye in his marketing team, though, because Brian Norman is a good fighter, but picking Haney as an opponent at this stage in the game was a mistake. I would have avoided Haney and made some more money fighting other people because he has the charisma. And if you put guys in front of Norman that are just going to be right there for him to hit, Norman's good. Like, he's good as a pressure fighter. But putting him against a pure boxer with a good jab that can move, that was a mistake. And I think, like I said, the idea and the thing that they sold everybody on Haney not having a chin, or Haney not being tough, or Haney not being able to punch, when you sell somebody on someone else's deficiencies and they're not real deficiencies, you got a problem. And that's what they did wrong. I don't think the trainer is a problem per se. He doesn't move his head. He needs somebody that can get him to move his head. But I think their game plan in regards to how to even match make is a problem for me. Because if I could see it, I'm a promoter. I do everything there is in boxing. So I promote, I train fighters, I fought. You know what I mean? I never fought professional or anything like that, but I've been boxing my entire life. So boxing is really in my blood. My whole family either play football, they hustle, or they fight. That's it. My whole family. So it's in my blood. But so I've seen everything in this game, but at the same time, if I can see it, I'm not at the pro level. I'm at the pro level, but I'm not the championship level, right? If I can tell you that when you sign the contract, you have a problem, but your camp doesn't know that, unless they just went for the money, then you have a problem in your camp. Because how would I know that you shouldn't fight Haney, but you don't know that, and your dad don't know that, and your team don't know that? How would they look at this fight and say, hey, we can beat this guy? And if they really believe that they could beat Haney, even bigger problem. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's where the issue is. It's in the matchmaking, not in his ability. Because if you match him correctly, he'll look great for a long time. You know what I mean? You got to get him against people, put him against people that are going to be right there in front of him for him to hit. Even if they're tough, it doesn't matter. He's good there. It's just because he's very tough. But without moving your head, you only got so many clean punches you can take. And eventually you break down, whether it's in the fight or over the span of your career. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. But, you know what I mean? Good points you made, especially KLG. I appreciate that, Devo. Good points y'all made. But like I said, I can't wait to see what Norman, Haney, and those guys do moving forward. I like the fact that Conor Bennett's coming down into the division. It makes it a lot more exciting. So let's look out for the 147 welterweight division and see what fights are made in the first half of 2026, because I think it's going to be an interesting year based off the way this one's wrapping up.